We are on a hunt, coming outside to harvest up some moss. Living in the Pacific Northwest, you always have moss on the bottom of a tree, in the path. My goal is that tree down there. What do you say, Bella? Do you think that's the tree? Nice, fresh and green. My orchids that are more terrestrial based, that live nearer the swampy bottom tree branches in the natural, where they're not up on the tree bark, but they're closer to the leaf matter on the floors and of the forest. They love the tree bark moss. And my paphiopedilums love it, but they need to be changed every year because of it. What'd you find? You got some? Is that the spot? I need to get some from here? Okay. Nice and bright and green. Yeah. My personalized fuzzy tree. See, there's not, I don't see anything really growing and crawling and creeping, but I will still rinse it good at my sink, put it through the salad spinner, take off, big chunks of the dirt that might be lingering, and then spray the peroxide on it to kill any crawlies. Just like being a kid again. My mama knows I was always out playing in the dirt. Here's a nice log. Let's see what's hiding underneath it. What do you think, Bells? Did we catch enough? Woo! I got lightheaded. Bending over. Hello and welcome to Michelle's Life on Repeat. I am in my orchid room because I have 3 paphiopedilums and a cappuccino latte thing. I started off to make a cappuccino, but I didn't froth the milk enough. I have the 3 paphiopedilums that are not necessarily due as far as a year's worth of time for a repot, but I am curious because this is the first full season that I've had them, and I keep them rather moist all through the winter too, because they're shade loving and more bottom dwelling in the forest type of paphiopedilums. And the way I researched it, it suggested a wet, moist, constantly little damp environment. So I want to check their roots. I do want to repot 2 of them just to make sure they're in a good healthy environment, and I'll check on the 3rd. If it doesn't need anything, then it doesn't need anything. But you saw me out collecting the moths. Now I have spent 15-20 minutes in my bathroom with the shower head. No, not standing in there like I'm taking a shower, but showering off all the individual pieces of that moss, rinsing the chunks, doing what I can to get it as clean as possible. And I use my handy dandy salad spinner because it just wicks the water away very well. Now you can buy a second one at a Goodwill store or a secondhand store that you use just for your plants, pots, food-based one, plant-based ones. I'm kind of the mindset that if our food grows in the dirt, it's okay to get a little bit of dirt in our diet. So, and I do bleach it out and clean it when I'm done. So there's no need for me to have 2 of them in my house. So moss to me is, it's not that bad. But other people have higher standards. I understand that. Not judging. So what I'm going to do now that it's been thoroughly rinsed, I am going to douse it in my hydrogen peroxide because I don't want any lingering snail eggs, worm eggs, critter eggs, whatever kind of things might be lingering. And I'm going to actually just pour it over it. Now, if you're not familiar with hydrogen peroxide, it sizzles when you are activating it. But after it's done its sizzle and it's killed its environmental things that you didn't want in there, it just turns to water. So there's really no need to rinse it. But I am going to dump all of that moss in there and give it a good stir around and just let it marinate for a while before I salad spin it. And it's still sizzling. So I will let it do its thing, then I will salad spin it, and then I'll be ready to pot. So let me show you what I have here. I'm going to use my Orchiata bark, my pumice volcanic stones, whoops, and also my charcoal bits that are in there. And that will be partly mixed in with the fresh moss, and I have some zombie dried moss that I will mix in there. And that will be the concoction that makes up my potting soil, my potting mixture. I hope you all are doing well. It is a gorgeous 60-degree weather day here. This is rubbing alcohol in Washington State. So it is glorious. It is a Saturday. I don't have a migraine. Those are all wonderful things stacked up in my favor. So let us dump out her old media. Oh my, I may have killed her off. She only has 2 tiny roots, but goodness sakes, look at them. They're still holding on. This one is dead. See, now this is my first full year cycle of growing these. So when they say keep it moist, I kept it soggy. Learning my differences here. I have killed off most of all of the root except for this one. This one here, they're fuzzy normally, but they don't pull apart like that when they're healthy. So learn from me. Definitely. We killed off some roots and she didn't grow prosperously like I had hoped. Now these roots are naturally an orange-ish brown and they are fuzzy at the end, but with it being wet and soggy, you don't really notice that, I don't think. But we only have 1 good root plus half of another one, and she does have some baby fans. Maybe that's old, not certain, but definitely gonna have to. See, this one is yellowing and starting to die on me. Good thing we checked. We're gonna go into rescue mode with this one. This bottom leaf is soggy, it just peels away, not what you want. So, on my channel, you can learn everything you shouldn't do with your Paphiopedilum. But I think we can rescue her. I will definitely put her in a smaller container where I can watch her. This one was probably 5 times too big for her. I had hopes she would grow much faster. So I will just rinse her and put her off to the side until we decide to pot her up. All right, let us check out number 2. Excuse me, I get really thirsty for ice water when I'm drinking coffee. Anyone else out there like that? Let's hope, fingers crossed, that I haven't thoroughly killed this one too. But if I did, well, we're all learning together. I'm not going to cry over it. It's like spilt milk, right? You don't cry over it. This one looks a lot better. A lot. I'll show you a close-up as the old stuff falls off. And you can see she's got an orange tone to her roots. And I haven't squeezed any to see if they are dead or alive. I am going to clean this up, rinse her. All right, so we have swiped away that mess, the magic of the internet. Look at this. We got some new roots growing there. I'm so excited. And as I go through, there's a nice new root tip here. And I'm feeling, and we are solid. Oh, the dog and the man just came back from a walk. We might have a bombardment of Bella. Everything feels good, checks out good. The inner ones even feel good. Yahoo, yahoo. I don't think I have to cut anything off of that root base. I do have this dead leaf that is partially dying off there, you can see. I'm just going to help it. Well, nope, it's pretty firm down at the base, so I will leave it to fall off on its own. She will go back in the same size pot, I think. But we'll put her off to the side. And we'll check this third one. And again, we have some healthy roots, I think. I will rinse her off and I give you a better view of her. So we have healthy roots on her. And I will just give her a fresh start on this spring. These are still the old moss coming out. All the roots feel good. So I will get this one repotted up today. So one that needed a desperately help intervention, and two that were doing just great. So I need to lessen my water and put that smaller one definitely in a smaller container. Smaller, and that way I can watch and sneak in there and peek if there is more growth coming along. So I'm going to layer the bottom with some of my bigger bark pieces, some pumice, a little bit of charcoal, and I'm going to put some of that yummy fresh moss in there for her to lay that root on. And now I'm just going to pot her up all around because I have a suspicion I'll top her off with the fresh moss. I'm not going to use the zombie moss on this one because she is not doing the best in size. But I don't want any new roots that are going to emerge from that top area to go dry. That's what we'll kill those roots off right fast. So putting more of that fresh moss in there. And I will have to keep a good eye on this one. I hope that she thrives, but we will see as the spring progresses onward. So I'm pushing it down. There's lots of air between here and there, so I'm just going to stack a little bit more of that moss. And I will keep it in a light tray of water this time, not a heavy tray, not soaking, just enough to ooze its way up through the bark. And I'll probably put it in a little saucer that's just yay high with water. Now she was Bandit M Pyramid. One is done. Let's move on to the bigger one that has that dying leaf, but I'm just going to let it continue to do its thing because it's still firmly attached at the base. Now I have the two different pots. I can't remember which one she came out of. That one has a lot of extra room. That one has even more. Since that one is round, I think I'll put her in that one. Hers, they stick out like they were stuck in a square for a long time, so they're kind of formed that way. So they like to touch the edge of that pot. I'll leave her there, and let's do this one. Now I probably just mixed up my labels. I'll have to go back and read the video myself, watch the video myself to see which one was which. Live moss. I don't think I'm going to use any of that zombie moss since I have such good live moss. Now I have her going in, not deep enough. Let's see, I need to get her down deeper, so take some of that out. And get her back in down there. My problem here is that her roots are up above the pot. I want them down below the pot. So I guess I will fill in the bark afterwards at the bottom. There, that gets her right to the bottom. Now I'll fill her in. Some bark and some moss. I hope you all are doing well. I have some sourdough bread in the oven, ticking down the moments until I run down there and drop the temperature on it. And I've been loving making my sourdough bread. My husband, he says he's going to have to start using the treadmill, because he loves the sourdough bread too. More of that fresh moss. Make sure to save enough for the next guy. So we have the 3 all finished.